Thank you, Mr. President. Madam President, today is going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day for this country because we and my colleagues, I believe, will confirm Heather Wilson as the Secretary of the Air Force. There are many reasons why it would be appropriate for Heather Wilson to be the Secretary of the Air Force. She has the Air Force in her DNA. Her father, Doug, was an Air Force veteran and commercial pilot. Her grandfather flew for Britain's Royal Flying Corps in World War I before coming to the United States and serving as a courier pilot during World War II. But you know what? Heather was to be no different. She was a junior in high school when the Air Force Academy began accepting women. She applied and was appointed there to be part of the Academy's third class with women. She also became the first woman to command basic training and the first woman vice wing commander. After college, she thought she was going to flight school, but those plans changed and she answered the call because she was awarded the very prestigious Rhodes Scholarship. It was only the 6th year that women were even permitted to apply for the Rhodes Scholarship, and she was a collegiate rower there, earned a master's degree and a doctorate in international relations. Heather's assignments and accomplishments are many. During her service, she was a negotiator and political advisor to the U.S. Air Force in England and as a planning officer for NATO in Belgium, where she worked on arms control negotiations. Heather left the Air Force because she heeded another call to serve as the Director for European Defense Policy and Arms Control on the staff of the National Security Council. I know she worked very closely with former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice during the administration of President H.W. Bush, during the fall of the Berlin Wall and the collapse of the Warsaw Pact. Heather's always been on an upward trajectory. She left government and started her own company, advising defense and scientific corporations. But you know what? Public service has always called Heather back. In 1995, she was asked to be the Cabinet Secretary of the New Mexico Children, Youth, and Families Department, where she oversaw foster care, adoption, early childhood education, children's mental health, and the juvenile justice system. And from there, again, public service kept calling her, and she was elected to the House of Representatives in 1998, becoming the first woman to represent New Mexico since the 1940s, and the first female veteran elected to a full term in the United States Congress. This is where I met Heather Wilson, was in the House of Representatives. Her time on the Hill included service on the United States House Committee on Armed Services and the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. I was lucky enough to serve with Heather Wilson to learn from her, her incredible depth of knowledge, her certainty. Heather is so certain, and her ability to cut through the politics to do what's right for the country. Many speeches I heard Heather give on the House floor, and it was always through the frame of what is in the best interests of the United States. So after she left Congress, she founded another company before she was selected as president of the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, and she there is now serving as the school's first female president. My condolences to the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology, because duty is calling Heather Wilson back to Washington to be our Secretary of the Air Force. There are a lot of firsts in Heather's life. Senator Pete Domenici, who I know Heather felt very close to, once called Heather, quote, the most brilliantly qualified House candidate anywhere in the country. So you know what? I say Heather is a brilliantly qualified designee to be the Secretary of the Air Force. She has always been not only an incredible intellect and a strong leader, but she's also a very warm and welcoming and kind person. We became friends, good friends, and remain so to this day. She's a leader, she's a spouse, she's a mother of 2 wonderful children, a pilot and a veteran. And so I'm excited about the prospect of Heather returning to Washington to become our Secretary of the Air Force. Madam President, I note the absence of a quorum.